Today we want to spend some time looking at administering plugins within your WordPress installation. So the screen that we're currently looking at is the plugin administration screen. And as you can kind of tell, we have a lot of things going on in this screen. So let's start by just looking at what we have here. So each one of these rows represents an individual plugin installed in this WordPress sample site. I've got the core control right here. I've got featured image generator, Jetpack, etc., etc. Now the names are right here in bold. And then underneath it, there's going to be a couple commands that'll change depending on the state of the plugin. So down here, you see that this one says deactivate, whereas these ones say activate and delete, etc., etc. Over here, we get this yellow bar saying that this particular plugin actually has a new version that's ready to be installed, and that gives us some action links that we can interact with as well. And then over here, we have a short description of the plugin provided by the plugin author, as well as the current version number, who wrote the plugin, and then a link to the details page about the plugin. And then there might be some other links in this area as well, depending on what the plugin author added. So in this case, if we go down, we see a little bit more. Oh, this one says visit the plugin site. Let's see if we have any others. Not too crazy, etc. So all these plugins have currently been installed and they show up in here. Now in this video we won't actually spend time going into how the plugins are set up, developed, or anything like that. We want to really just be attacking the administration, okay? So what we're going to do first is we're going to start by adding a new plugin, activating it, deactivating plugins, deleting them, etc. So let's go ahead and add a new plugin. Go ahead and click the Add New button, and this will actually take you to the WordPress directory of plugins. Now these are plugins that are hosted by WordPress, but theoretically you could also develop your own plugin. You could have a plugin developed for you. You could download one off of a plugin site, etc., and install it manually into your site. But for now, we're going to work with the WordPress directory. If we are searching for a certain type of plugin, we can do so over here in the search console, or we can use some of their favorite links, such as, let's see what the favorites are. We can search by a username, etc. We can look at recommended plugins, WooCommerce, Yoast, WordPress, etc. I actually like WordPress. That's a good plugin. So let's go ahead and go through the installation process. We can go ahead and click the Install Now button, and it'll work on actually installing it. So what it does is it downloads the zip file, unpacks it on your website, and it'll unload it into your file structure. Now, if we could hit the Activate button here, but we're actually not going to. We're going to go back to our installed plugins, and we should actually see WordFence right here, WordFence Security. Okay, WordFence Security is the name of the plugin. We have a couple of actions underneath it, and then we have the description here. If we want to see details about the plugin, we can go ahead and click this button, and these details will come up. Now these are the exact same details that are on the WordPress.org site, but they're included here for our convenience and ease. On these information screens, they follow the same basic structure. There's a description which provides all kinds of information about the plugin. There's an installation routine, gives you basic steps of how to install the plugin. You can go to the FAQs, which the developer provides information on some of their most frequently asked questions. You can look up the changelog of what's been changed recently in the plugin. Now keep in mind that these are all provided by the developers, so some plugins, like this one, will have a lot of details, whereas others will have very little details. And then also some recommended screenshots. And finally, reviews. So people can actually post reviews of what they think about the plugin and so forth. And then over here is some metadata about the plugin, the version, the author, when it was updated, so on and so forth. Again, if you want to go to the plugin's home, you can also see a link generally here. Now, generally speaking, pay attention to the ratings of the plugins that you install. I tend to avoid plugins that have lower than a 4-star rating. This one appears to have a very, very healthy rating, so we can have a lot of trust in this plugin. Now the first step will be to actually activate it. And there we go. We have now activated this plugin. Now this plugin actually now has some custom installation steps after activation, and this is what we have actually now gone into. So this is nothing to do with the actual activation of the plugin itself. These are post hooks after activation that the plugin requires. So let's go ahead and close that, and now we're actually back to our plugin screen. But we have some errors related to that plugin up here because we didn't actually finish the activation that it wants us to do. See, it says please complete WordPress installation. We're just going to go ahead and close those, and for the heck of it, we're going to say deactivate. Okay, now we've now gone ahead and turned that plugin off. Let's do that again. We're going to go to Core Control this time, another plugin. We're going to say activate. Now this one didn't have any post hooks that it required our intervention, and so now our Core Control plugin has now been activated and properly installed. Core Control you can see by coming over to the Tools section, and then you can access the plugin details over here in this menu. Now what the individual plugins do are all different, but this tutorial is really just about maintaining or administering them. Okay? Now when we don't want a plugin anymore, we can easily go to this deactivate button and simply deactivate it. Now depending on how good the plugin is, it may or may not do certain cleanup things after the plugin has been deactivated. If your plugin created a lot of content or a lot of database tables, it may not have actually deleted those database tables. So depending on what the plugin is, over time you may actually end up with a lot of unused tables inside of your database. That's why it's generally not advised to just go and install, activate, deactivate, and change plugins all the time. You might do a lot of inadvertent damage to your core database over time. Now, if you're not using a plugin, it is generally advised to delete the plugin code, because even if you're not using it, the WordPress core still loads the plugin and checks for its status. So it is still doing something with the plugin even when it's not activated. That's why this shows up as data within our website, because even though the plugin's not activated, it is still technically installed. So if you don't want a plugin, you can go ahead and just simply delete it from your site. So let's say, for example, this plugin, we don't want it anymore, so let's go ahead and just hit the delete button. It's going to give us a confirmation. Are we sure we want to delete it? Now when you delete it, it will actually be deleting files from your web server. It'll physically delete the files related to this plugin. So that's why we're getting a confirmation. Go ahead and, if you're sure you want to delete, go ahead and give it the confirmation, and then it does its delete routine, and now this has been successfully deleted. Now if you didn't mean to delete it, well, the files have been removed from your web server, so you're going to have to go through the install process over again, either by going up to the add new to get the plugin back from the WordPress directory, or by installing the plugin files manually from wherever you got the plugin from. This is also a reason why it's always advised to maintain a backup of your WordPress installation, because who knows when one of your administrators or moderators for a site might accidentally delete a plugin that they shouldn't have.